If you're going through a divorce and you have children, you may be wondering, is it better for the kids to stay in the house? There is an option for the kids to stay in the home and never have to travel back and forth between mom and dad's house. It's called a bird nesting or just nesting agreement. This is where the family home remains intact. The children stay in their home. And the parents, when they have their parenting time, that parent stays in the house while the other stays elsewhere. Sometimes the parents in their co-parenting arrangement will have the children's home, the family home, and one apartment elsewhere. So if it's not your parenting time, you are staying in the apartment. If it is your parenting time, you are staying in the home with the children. This really only works if the couple is amicable, if the divorce is amicable, because this can be disastrous. If there's a lot of conflict between the parents, this isn't necessarily in the best interest of the children. However, I have seen some nesting agreements be very successful. The children have security, they have stability because they never have to leave their home, they never have to pack their bags, they don't have to go to mom or dad's house bouncing back and forth, especially if it's a 50-50 kind of parenting split. That's a lot of bouncing back and forth for the kids. So a nesting agreement can be a good option for the children. But like I said, you have to be pretty amicable with your ex-spouse for this to work. A nesting agreement is theoretically the least disruptive to the children. When you think about school, they're always getting on the same bus. When you think about neighborhood friends, their things, they don't have to pack a bag. It can be really great for the kids. However, it can also be very confusing for the kids. Depending on a child's age, they may have fantasies about the parents getting back together. And by maintaining the same home and having the parents coming and going and inevitably spending some time together in the home, sometimes children may fantasize that the parents are going to get back together. And that can be a little bit troublesome. In her book, The Self-Aware Parent, Dr. Fran Walfish, who is a family and relationship psychotherapist, puts a cap of about 3 months on a nesting agreement. So she believes that this is just a time of transition. It's just a way to soften the blow for children whose parents have just divorced. It's really up to you. Speak with a therapist for your children, speak with your pediatrician, and really understand what your situation is. It can work long term, but according to this expert, it's really best short term. Only you can make that decision for your family and what works best, but this is also a way to maintain the family home, and in this way you can also delay whatever real estate transaction you're going to eventually have to make with the home. You could have an agreement where you have a nesting agreement until the child reaches the end of high school, and then you sell the house and you both split the proceeds, or whatever you have negotiated in your settlement. That can be delayed until such time. I actually know some people who have this sort of situation. The wife stayed in the home, the ex-husband continues to pay for the home, and she gets to stay there until the youngest child graduates high school. At that time, the ex-husband gets ownership of the house again. He can sell it, he can live in it, but this is their arrangement. Now for her, because that youngest child is actually pretty young, this gives her a lot of time to save up for wherever she's going to live next. And so there are a lot of different ways you can negotiate this kind of situation, but a nesting agreement is a very popular and common resource for families for children to stay in the home and not have so much disruption. So you'll have to balance whether you think this is right for your family, whether you think you and your ex can handle it together, not everybody can, and make your decision accordingly.